Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Oh, glories, Hare Krishna. I'll start with some prayers to the spiritual master. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guroh Sri Yutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padans Chahagana Lalita Sri Visakanvitams Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Krupa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Jayapataka Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. By the mercy of Lord Madhava, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and the spiritual master, the lame man can walk mountains, climb mountains, and the mute can speak. So hopefully I can share a few words with everybody. It's always so stressful. I feel like I'm on the hot seat. So when I get on here, I have to take a couple of breaths and just speak what the Guru says to speak. That's it. So the verse I picked today is from the Nectar of Instruction. Utsaha, text 3. Utsaha nischayat dhairyat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat sato vritteh sadbhir bhakti prasidhyati. Utsahat, by enthusiasm. Nischayat, by confidence. Dhairyat, by patience. Tat karma, various activities favorable for devotional service. Pravartanat, by performing. Sangatyagat, by giving up the association of non-devotees. Sataha, of the great previous acharyas. Vruttehe, by following in the footsteps. Sadbihi, by these 6. Bhaktihi, devotional service. Prasidhyati, advances or becomes successful. Translation. There are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1. Being enthusiastic. 2. Endeavoring with confidence. 3. Being patient. 4. Acting according to regulative principles such as Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, hearing, chanting, and remembering Krishna. Abandoning the association of non-devotees. And 6. Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. These 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So, Srila Prabhupada defines bhakti not just as devotion, but he defines it as devotional service. So it has 2 aspects. It has the internal aspect, or the mood, and then the active external aspect, which are the activities. So this process of devotional service has both components to it. It's not a, as he says, a matter of sentimental speculation or imaginative ecstasy. There's a process to follow and a philosophy that supports this process. So Srila Rupa Goswami is one of the 6 Goswamis. The 6 Goswamis were the principal disciples of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually instructed Rupa Goswami about these principles and about this process of devotional service, and requested him to expand on it, to write it down, to step by step delineate the process so that we, the sadhakas or the aspiring devotees, can follow this progress. So it's not a passive process. It's a very active process. And Srila Prabhupada likens it to the cultivation of a garden. And I love this analogy because I'm a gardener, okay, so I could really relate. So he explains that this is an active process of gardening. Okay, so I'll go on to the next part first. Okay, so let's look at this verse itself. Okay, so it talks about, well, one thing is the last line says, if you follow these principles, these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. Sounds like a guarantee to me. What do you think? Right? That's a pretty heavy thing. They said he guarantees that. And I want you to remember that guarantee, okay? Because I'm going to say something about it at the end. Just remember that guarantee. And please remind me. I just thought of this, but I need you to remind me of that guarantee, okay? So that's the first part. Okay, there's a guarantee there. The other thing is it says pure devotional service. Well, what's pure devotional service? What does pure devotional service look like? So pure devotional service, again, described again by Rupa Goswami, right? Anyabilasita sunyam jnana karma jnanavrutam anukulyena krishnaanusilanam bhaktiruttama. Uttama bhakti, or unalloyed devotion unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, involves the rendering of devotional service in a way that is favorable to the Lord. Number one requirement, right? Favorable to the Lord. You can't just do whatever you want and say, I'm doing devotional service, okay? Lord Chaitanya has given us a process because he knows what we're like in this Kali Yuga, that we know what we're doing and we're going to make it up as we go. So he's saying, no, there is an actual way you need to do this. So it has to be favorable to the Lord. This devotional service should be free from any extraneous motives and devoid of fruit of karma, impersonal jnana, and all other selfish desires. So that's what he's talking about. That's what it says, that those are the requirements for devotional service. So now let's look at those 6 aspects. So as I said, 3 of them are internal, and they're the mood. They talk about the mood. And what is that mood? That mood is we have to be enthusiastic. We have to be patient, enthusiastic, and confident. Okay, so patient, enthusiastic, and confidence. And Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice definition for this enthusiasm. He defines this as endeavoring with intelligence in Krishna consciousness. And it means always acting for Krishna, keeping him up front and center. So he is the main goal. He is the reason to be. He is the reason for this service. And then patience. Patience, again, cultivating a garden. When we plant a seed, okay, we cannot expect it to sprout like right away, right? It's not going to happen. Now, as long as all the other prerequisites are in order, which is a good seed, watering, weeding, and protecting this, right? You want to fence it in, protect this, right? And you have a good seed, then there's a guarantee there's a pretty sure guarantee that it's going to sprout. But these things have to be there, right? The weeding, the watering, and the protecting, okay? But is it going to sprout like tomorrow? So you tell your child, let's plant this seed, and he's going to come out there and say, Amma, is it sprouting? Is it sprouting? He'll come out every day. Is it sprouting? Is it sprouting? He's so enthusiastic. Is it sprouting? Is it sprouting? But it's not sprouting yet, right? It takes time. So we need that patience. We need patience. We need that take time for that to happen. Then it says confidence. Confidence is confident that Krishna is going to give you his mercy. Now, why wouldn't Krishna give you his mercy? As long as you are serious and you are wholeheartedly trying, no cutting corners. And I want to share something with you that for me, that this is what kind of things that give me confidence. So the last couple of days we had all the Maharajas talking, Bhakti Sundar Swami and then Radhanath Swami, right? So when Balaram Prabhu would ask me like 2 or 3 weeks ago to give a class, kept postponing it, and I kept thinking about this one verse. And I'm thinking, I will do this verse, but I have to think about how I'm going to do it. But I have time now because I have a couple weeks. And then what did Bhakti Sundar Maharaj talk about? Enthusiasm. What did Radhanath Swami talk about? Enthusiasm. What did he talk about? I'm going to get to this too. Radhanath Swami talked about Sravanam. And I thought, okay, I get it, Krishna, I will talk about that verse. I will talk about Nectar of Instruction, which is what the name of this thing is. So I will talk about this. And then Mataji asked the question, about how do we get this right. And then Dravida Prabhu answered the question, and he said, it's in the nectar of instruction. And I thought, okay, Krishna, you don't have to hit me over the head. I get it. I will do that verse. It talks about those three things. I got it. So immediately, I get goosebumps. I get excited because, Krishna's telling me, I feel, it could be my imagination, it could be coincidence, but if this happens over and over and over again, it's not coincidence. I promise you, it is not coincidence, okay? Krishna knows when you want to do something for him, he will give you. Tell me if any of you have had the experience of you've had a question and you've opened up the Bhagavad Gita or you opened up the Srimad Bhagavatam and the answer is there and you're like, oh my God, okay. Okay, Krishna, I get it. Has that happened to anybody? Show of hands. Okay. So I'm not the only weird one, okay? So I'm not making things up. But it happens, and it happens over and over and over again. What's even more interesting, and I'll share this too, when I wanted to get initiated, oh my God, I will try to finish. I'm not going to digress too much, but when I wanted to get initiated, and my relative asked me, he says, why do you need to get initiated? You're following the principles already. You grow up in the movement, this and that and the other thing. And they need convincing. They needed convincing. And we have a lot of books in our DD room from a lot of different gurus, a lot of different spiritual masters. Not particularly, not maybe from the Brahma Gauda Sampradaya, not from our disciplic succession. So I said, Krishna, you know what? I need a sign. So I go to the temple room and I open up this book, and it's like discourses on the Gita. And I open this book, and the page that I'm looking at, again, Radhanath Swami talked about this. This page I'm talking about, this guru is talking about the incident in the Sri Rangam temple when that devotee is looking at the Bhagavad Gita. His guru asks him to read it, but he can't read it, and people are laughing at him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and asks him, why are you crying? Is it because they're making fun of you? And he said, no, it's because just thinking about Krishna doing this, acting as Sarthi, acting as a charioteer for Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead doing this. Wow. It just brings so much, joy and happiness, and I'm just moved by this. And I thought, so I went and showed this, and look what I found. And it was like, yeah, well. So it wasn't even Bhagavad Gita, it wasn't even Krishna's, it wasn't even Prabhupada's book, but it was, Krishna giving me a sign that this was meant to be. So, these kind of things happen over and over and over again. Okay, let's go on. Sorry. Okay, so that's the passive, what I want to say, the internal mood, right? Then we've got the external mood. Following the footsteps of the previous acharyas, following the regulative principles, and avoiding the association of non-devotees. So people always say, oh, non-devotees, you guys are so, segregate yourself from everybody. No, we're not. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, everybody is a devotee. Even Vaisheshika Prabhu says, everybody's a mango. Comparing that to a devotee. Some are ripe, some are not so ripe. So we, as practicing devotees, want to hang out with the ripe guys, okay? Because obviously, if you want to pass an exam, are you going to hang out with the guys that goof off? Or are you going to hang out with the guys that are studying? If you want to pass the exam, I'm hoping you're with who? Studiers, right? Yeah, if you can't expect to pass an exam if you're not studying, right? Okay, so that's why we like the association of those people who are in the same frame of reference as us, who are in the same lifestyle as us, who have the same interests as us. Otherwise, what are you going to talk about, right? You have nothing to talk about. You have to have something to talk about, something common to talk about. And Krishna is the best thing to talk about because he gives you that energy and he gives you that enthusiasm. So, okay, going on. Now, and then, this is, like I said, it's a process. It's not some haphazard process. It's not some random process. But, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are giving a specific regimen to follow. Now, Srila Prabhupada uses the analogy of we being sick, that we're all sick, that we're all diseased. And I love his play of words, okay? And you know what disease he says we have? The skin disease. And so, what is the skin disease? It's the bodily identification. I'm a woman. Well, that's outside. I'm a woman. I'm black. I'm white. I'm a Hindu. I'm a Muslim. This is the skin disease, the bodily identification. Identification with the body and not with who we are truly inside. So, if you're sick and you need, you see a doctor, he's going to give you medicine and he's going to give you a diet, right? He's going to give you a prescription and a diet. says take, chew these tablets, and I want you to stay away from the sugar, cut down on the carbs, all this kind of stuff he would tell you. So what did Prabhupada give us? What did he give us? Can anybody tell me what that prescription of a diet and a certain number that he gave us? Yes. Well, close. It's actually 16. And it's the 16 rounds of japa that we chant. If you see many of the devotees have a japa mala, and they chant 16 rounds, 1,608 times around that, 16 times around a beaded mala necklace that has 108 beads on it. So that's the number, 16 rounds, okay? And then the diet is prasadam. Okay, so when you're sick, everything tastes bitter. I know this. I know from personal. Everything tastes bitter, and you can't taste sweet. You can't taste sour. But you're getting well when you can start tasting the sour and you can start tasting the sweet. Right? For me, the first thing that I tasted the sour, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting better. So just like that, once we can get a taste, then we know the medicine's working. A taste for chanting, a taste for that whole process, okay? And of course, in order to, and what's the other one says? Follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Well, first of all, you got to find an acharya, okay? How do we find an acharya? Who is an acharya? The first thing is that the acharya needs to be connected to a proper disciplic succession, because this process has been handed down from guru to disciple to guru, all the way down the disciplic succession. And that is an unbroken chain. So this process is kept intact. And these different gurus have followed the process. Just like you want to have a expert, if you're cultivating a garden, are you going to ask somebody on the road, somebody you don't know, or anybody who you don't know is a gardener? Are you going to ask them about your, dying tulsi plant or your dying, mango tree? Are you going to, or who are you going to go to? Who do you go to? Expert gardener. Thank you, Dravid Prabhu. An expert gardener. So you want to go to an expert gardener, right? An expert gardener. Who is that expert gardener? It's the guru. How do we know he's an expert gardener? Because he practices what he preaches, because his flowers are actually doing pretty well, right? So when we see these advanced devotees, when we see how they behave, when we see how they interact with others, when we see how they dedicate all of their lives to Krishna, then we know he is a true guru. And how should we approach him? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Okay, so this is a garden, right? So cultivate this garden. We've got an expert gardener. Okay, now the expert gardener is going to give you that seed, that bhakti lacha bij, so that seed of the creeper of devotional service. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this example is given. It's a garden, and my Guru Maharaj always talks about this. All the time he talks about this particular example in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We are given a seed. The spiritual master, out of his causeless mercy, because of the audarya, magnificent nature of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there are no prerequisite requirements for getting the Maha Mantra. Doesn't matter about birth, doesn't matter about beauty, doesn't have to be about education, nothing. Other mantras, you have to be born in a certain class, you have to follow certain regulations. And there are some regulations, but no strict regulations, like only at this time you have to take a bath. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this mantra, this harekrishna mantra, because you can chant this anywhere, everywhere, whoever you are at any time. Okay, that's the potency of this mantra. So they can give you that seed. And every time we come in contact with a pure devotee and he has chanted the Hare Krishna mantra, that is a subtle placement of that seed. In order to get the full effect, we want to get that connection with the spiritual master and take initiation. We'll talk about that later. But getting the seed is not enough. If somebody gave you a perfect seed, and you even have a fertile garden, let's say, and you put that seed out there, and you become an armchair gardener, as Badinarayan Maharaj says, we are not an armchair philosophy, but if you are an armchair gardener and you sit back and you're just sitting there, drinking your, orange juice and, and watching and, coming out there once in a while and say, I wish that, when will that fructify? When will that sprout? Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Never, right? What does it need? What do you need for that? It's a potent seed. Your garden is fertile, but it still needs something. What does it need? Water. It needs water, needs fertilization, needs protection. You need to protect it from the weeds. Remember I said garden? Remember I said the weeds? Okay. So the seed when it's given to us, and when it's given by initiation, people say, again, the question was asked, why do you need initiation? Why do you want to get initiation? You chant the mantra all the time. Why is it? And the reason why you take initiation is not only to be connected to the disciplic succession or that whole lineage, but when you, first of all, when you hear that mantra from a pure devotee chanted to you, then that they have, as I said, they have realized the truth, right? They have seen the truth. And only the mantra is only potent, has a certain amount of potency, but the full potency is given when somebody who has realized it has given it to you. That is the potency that exponentially increases the potency. Now, and what is the other reason? Because of commitment. So when you take a vow, you make a commitment, okay? Marriage vows are a commitment, right? It's a commitment to, we're in there for the long haul, right? I've made a promise to follow certain rules and regulations. I've promised to be faithful to you, your spouse or whatever. Now you're telling your spiritual master, I am vowing to be faithful to you, to follow the instructions that you have given me. And once we make a commitment like that, we tend to be a little bit more active, a little bit more careful, and we are going to try our best to fulfill those vows, right? So 4 regulated principles I talked about. Okay. The next thing, 4 regulated principles he's given us, and the 16 chanting. What are the other? Rambling. What are the other principles that Prabhupada has given us? So following the 4 regulated principles and chanting 16 rounds, or chanting a certain number of fixed rounds. Even if you're not initiated, these principles can be followed, okay? And these principles should be followed if you are serious about attaining pure bhakti, and if you're serious about progressing on this path. You have to make that decision. This is your choice. You can choose Maya or you can choose Krishna. It is your choice. And Krishna gives you that choice, and Srila Prabhupada is reminding you over and over and over again to make the right choice. Okay. But again, free will is there. So these principles to be followed. And also, he talks about the 7 processes of devotional service. Okay. And again, Radhanath Swami spoke about these. So see how it keeps coming back? I keep getting reminded, and why do these things come back? Prabhupada says if you see things 3 times, he repeats things 3 times. A lot of times you'll see in the same purport, he'll repeat things 3 times because that's important. So when this has been repeated over and over, then I feel it's important, right? So, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. What are they? Sravanam, hearing. Got to keep an eye on the time. Chanting, Kirtanam. Remembering, Vishnu Smaranam. Pada Sevanam, serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Archanam, deity worship. Vandanam, praying. Dasyam, executing his orders. Sakhyam, serving as a friend. Atmanivedanam, complete surrender. So, and the Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam, there are examples given of each of different devotees who have attained this pure devotion by following one of those processes, or maybe even all of those processes. So I'm just going to name them because I think it's important. So for hearing, we have Parikshit Maharaj, who heard the Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, no eating, no sleeping, no drinking, just continuously listening for 7 days. It's 24 hours a day. Okay. We have chanting or kirtanam by Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami chanted the Srimad Bhagavatam. And remembering, we have Prahlad Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was put through many, many different abuses by his father. Very, 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 serious abuse by his father. He never forgot the Supreme Personality of God. He continued thinking about Krishna. Serving the Lord's lotus feet, and that's Laxmi Devi, who is continuously worshipping the Lord's lotus feet and serving him. Archanam, deity worship, is Maharaj Prutu, who used all of his royal possessions, everything he has, his money, his everything that you can think of, he used for in the service of the Lord. Then we have praying or vandanam, which was Akrura, when he was sent by Kamsa to bring back Krishna, because Kamsa wanted to kill him, so he was telling Akrura to go get Krishna. And so, Akrura was so happy to see Krishna, although he was going there for a kind of like a bad reason, sent for a bad reason. He just wanted to see Krishna. The whole time he's praying to Krishna, the whole time he's on the way there, he's praying to Krishna. So he is the example is given. And then executing his orders is Dasyam, which is Hanuman. And we know how Hanuman is held up as the epitome of perfect serving the spiritual master perfectly, serving Sri Ramachandra, Lord Ram, right? Executing his orders continuously, in spite of any kind of problems, any kind of misgivings that he feels about his own quote-unquote inadequacies, which he felt, right, when he was supposed to jump over the ocean, but I'm not going to go there. Okay, stay back on track. Okay, but he fulfilled all these things. That's him. And then Atmanivedanam, or complete surrender, by Bali Maharaj, who, I forgot Sakyam. Thank you, Dhruva. Sorry, Sakyam, which was Arjuna. And we know that he was a close friend of Krishna, and that relationship. And he, of course, attained, he always had bhakti, but he, expanded it more for us by that example, listening to Krishna, his dearmost friend, narrating the Bhagavad Gita. And then complete surrender, or Atmanivedanam, which is Bali Maharaj, who, when Vamanadev, an incarnation of the Lord, came and he asked for 3 steps of land. He came as a small dwarf brahmana. He asked for 3 steps of land, and Bali Maharaj says, just 3 steps? 3 steps, all you want? He goes, yes, 3 steps is fine. And so he said, fine, please go ahead. And so the Lord expanded into a huge, gigantic form, right? And with 1 step, he covered all the lower planetary system. 2nd step, he covered all the rest of the universe. He had 1 step left. He goes, where should I put this step? And Bali Maharaj said, place it on my head. I am yours. And so that is his example of complete surrender to the Lord. So now, so I want to talk about just Sravanam right now. Keep an eye on the time. So Sravanam, now, remember I said that, it's tending a garden, right? And so we need to water the garden, and we water it with these processes. And Sravanam is the first one. And to me, really, really important. And why? Because everything starts from hearing. Everything starts from hearing. You hear from a pure devotee. You hear from a spiritual master. You hear from the right source. But how do you need to hear? How do you have to hear? You have to hear with an open mind and an open heart. And, like I said, everything begins with hearing. And you who are mothers and fathers, when is the first connection? What is the first connection that you have with your child when you're pregnant? What's the first time you know it's really there? He, she, it is really there. What's the first thing? You go to the doctor in the beginning. What does he do? What do you hear? Heartbeat, right? So think about that. The heartbeat is the first thing you hear, and then you're connected. Sravanam is so important. As you're dying, your hearing is the last thing that goes. That's why we say chant, chant. When my father was passing away, before he passed away actually, he kept telling us, I don't want you guys crying when I'm passing away, okay? Only chant Hare Krishna. Chant Hare Krishna. That's what I want you to do. And as he was, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and he was slowly weakening and stuff. And my brother kept asking him, Nana, what do you want to tell everybody? What do you want to tell everybody? What do you want us to remember? And he kept saying, chant Hare Krishna, chant Hare Krishna. That's all he could say, chant Hare Krishna. So that is the thing that's most important, hearing, okay? Even in relationships, right? Listen to your spouse. Please listen. They go to marriage counselor, they say, please listen to each other, right? You tell when you're at school, the teacher always tells you, please listen to your children. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. So listen. And listen, like I said, with your open heart and open mind. So I want to try something. So I would like everybody to close their eyes and open your heart, open your mind, and I want you to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. But wait. The way I want you to chant it is I want you to listen to each syllable in Hare, Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Rama, Rama. Okay? That I want you to chant. We'll chant it together, and I don't want you to chant it loud or yell or anything. I want you to chant it so you can hear it. Now, you may hear other people also. You may hear, your mind may wander. That's fine. But I want you to hear it yourself. Hear and listen. And the mantra may come in front of you in words. That's fine. You may see the Lord. That's fine. You may not. That's fine. All that is fine, but just listen. Listen to the mantra. We'll chant it 3 times, and we'll do it very slowly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Slowly open your eyes. Now, do you feel that? Did you feel it in your heart? Now, just imagine if you could chant like that all the time. It's these little tastes that Krishna gives you. It's these little things that Krishna gives you. And then you are like, I want that too. And you can see these devotees when they're chanting. Some of the devotees you can see. And we need, and the reason why I say 3 is because I can't keep my mind focused more than 3 mantras. That's how weak I am. So, but that's fine. Bring it back. Just bring it back. Bring it back in here. Let it fill your heart. Let it fill your heart. Let it fill your mind. And, if you can do this early in the morning, during that time when nobody else is awake, you can take on the world. You can take on anything. And you will survive this whole process, this whole material world. Okay, so just hold on to that thought. Talking about the weeds. Okay, I'm almost done and almost on track. So talking about those weeds. What are those weeds? Those weeds are anger, envy, pride, desire for fame, name, fame. Those are the subtle weeds that my Guru Maharaj speaks about. And also the mad elephant offense, which is a mad elephant, which is a serious one, which is, when you let out an elephant, if you're letting an elephant in your, newly cultivated, newly sprouting garden, well, we know what happens, right? It's completely annihilated, right? What is that mad elephant? That offending a devotee. So we don't know who is a devotee. We don't know who is a devotee, who is not a devotee. We are not qualified to designate that. So this behooves us to be very, very respectful to everybody we meet. My Guru Maharaj always, 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 no matter, even if they're criticizing him, he never, ever, ever speaks bad about anybody. And you see, he only sees the good thing, and what do you say? Amplifies the good. So that's the mad elephant that we need to know. This weeds of envy, and we all have these things that come up. When you're cultivating the garden, when you're digging up, you're gonna get some junk, right? You got to get rid of junk. When you're getting your garden ready, you got to get rid of that junk, and you have a choice how you're going to deal with that junk. And I'll give a little example, and this is kind of embarrassing, but I figured I'd share it. So I have a friend, a very good friend of mine, actually, and on Facebook. She was posting all these pictures of how she was doing yoga, and then she was printing these books, and she was writing all this stuff, and she was going all these places to these temples, all this stuff she was doing, and I was jealous. Oh my God, I was so jealous. And then I was embarrassed. I was ashamed of myself because she's my friend, and I was embarrassed. And then I thought, okay, what do I need to do with this? You can choose what you do with this. So I said to myself, why am I envious? That's like stupid. That's not helping me, nor is it helping her. Plus, I'm committing an offense, okay? So there goes my latabi. There goes my creeper. It's starting to dwindle right there. So I'm like, okay, instead of being envious, what is stopping me from doing those things that she's doing? Did somebody say I can't write, that I'm not allowed to write? If I want to write something, I should write it. Stop complaining about it. If I want to do yoga, then do it. Who's stopping me? No, nobody's stopping me. So then I texted her, and I said, you know what? I said, Mataji, I've got to tell you something. That this is, and I want to apologize because, this is, to my mind, this is an offense, and I said, I wanted to tell you this, but, I turned it around, and I realized that, you inspire me. You inspire me, and I'm going to take this as inspiration, and I'm going to do that. So you choose what you want to do with this envy. You choose what you want to do with this anger. You can turn the anger outward, you can turn it inward, or you can sit quietly and let it dissipate. Let it go. Count to 10, they say. I say chant Hare Krishna quietly 3 times, slowly, listening to each syllable, and your anger will go. And an added advantage also is you might even get a solution to that problem. So, that's it. And so enthusiasm. Okay. Now, going on to get to the next part, I want to elaborate on enthusiasm and patience and what was the other thing? Confidence, right? Okay. I want to make sure you guys are listening. Okay. So even I'm forgetting what I'm saying. See how fickle the mind is. So we can get enthusiasm from many different sources. We can get enthusiasm from advanced devotees. How many people were here when Bhakti Sundar Maharaj was here, when Radhanath Swami was here, when Devamrita Swami was here? How many people became enthused because of that? How many people by show of hands? Okay. I definitely was, okay. And then from neophyte devotees. How do we get enthusiastic? How do we get enthused by neophyte devotees? It's like what is it? First love? They've just fallen in love with Krishna. They've just fallen in love with the process. So what are you like when you're first in love, right? So this reminded me of my grandson, Surya Mitra. So the thing is that, the other day he was telling me, I'm going to get up, I'm going to brush my teeth, I'm going to take a shower, and then I'm going to eat my breakfast. And then, Mama, we're going to go walking. And I'm like, okay, and he was so excited. And I'm sitting here thinking, he's excited about walking. I'm like, okay, walking, And so this is what a new devotee is like. I'm going to chant. Oh, my God, I just got this new book. That's what we were all like that. Okay. Many of us who've been here long-time devotees, many of who came to Krishna consciousness before, many who have gone and fallen away and come back, whatever, we started like that. We started because we were excited. And that's why Srila Prabhupada gives us these books, so we can stay excited. So we can pass these on to different people, and we can get that, relive that excitement. And when they get initiation, it's like when people renew their wedding vows. Many people who are married and they go to these weddings where they're renewing their vows, or even when they're getting married for the first time. It brings everything back, right? It brings back all the vows you've taken. It brings back all those memories, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna, be serious about this relationship, sort of thing, right? So that's what happens, when we hear neophyte devotees, when we hear, when we see older devotees, we get this enthusiasm, okay? And Guru Maharaj explains that this getting initiation is actually not the end. It's not. Excuse me again. It's not like we've made the end goal. It's actually, no, it's okay, thank you. It's okay. It's actually, we've just begun. This is where the hard work begins. This is where the cultivation of that garden begins, okay? So, as we progress, we need to continue to weed, and we need to continue to protect it, okay? And let me think what else. So, as I explained about, how my confidence was bolstered, I talked about that. And also, like we say, we go to an expert garden, we see this garden, and we get enthusiastic by seeing how they are flourishing. And we know that we can also flourish as like that. And then, and we'll have problems. We have problems in our garden, but, and we'll have problems in life. And I actually want to read something that actually Gururaj Maharaj had posted on his Facebook, and I asked Maharaj, can I share this? Because it really is kind of pertinent to what I'm going to talk about. And he said, yes. And he said, we have problems. We'll always have problems. So Srila Prabhupada, Giriraj Swami Maharaj was narrating, telling about an incident where there was a lot of problems. This is the beginning, beginning when ISKCON was, all the devotees were getting settled in Hyderabad or Mumbai, I can't remember now. And there were a lot of problems. And so, Srila Prabhupada came and the devotees told their problems, and Srila Prabhupada listened to the problems, and then he said, you should all sit down, discuss the problems, decide how you're going to fix it, write it down, and then follow this process. Then his mood changed. Okay, so he took care of the business aspect of it. And this is the brilliance of Srila Prabhupada. Because he's just not just talking about devotion on a very, very abstract way. He's talking about practical aspects. He's teaching us how to live this life and be a devotee at the same time. How to pay our bills, take care of our kids, and be a devotee at the same time. So he said, so this is what he says. His mood changed. So this is his brilliance. He told the devotees, as long as we are in the material world, there will always be problems. But if we focus too much on the problems, we will forget our real business. We will forget our real business, which is to become Krishna conscious. Instead of thinking and talking about Krishna, we will think and talk about problems. Then he spoke about himself, how much he had endured to spread Krishna consciousness. He had suffered 2 heart attacks at sea on the way to America, and in America he had a buzzing in his ears and terrible headaches. I do not wish even to tell you how much I suffered, he said, but I never complained. My principle was always, quote, everything for Krishna, nothing for me. And because that was my principle, everything for Krishna, nothing for me, I never complained. And that, dear friends, is the definition of bhakti, right? So this is the mood. And Srila Prabhupada continuously, I highly recommend reading Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. It is available on vedabase.com on the computer. You can just read it from there. If you can read it with some other devotees, it's a fantastic life of Srila Prabhupada from the beginning. How much he went through in order to give us the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita. So many things he gave us. It's very, very, you have to read that to understand the extent to which Srila Prabhupada sacrificed his life for us, right? For us, for teaching us this process of Krishna consciousness. So, as I said, quickly, enthusiasm, confidence, patience, all of these are necessary. Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas, following the regulative principles, and associating with like-minded people, okay? That is the process that is set down for us to get Uttama Bhakti. So, yad atra skalitam kinchit vidvamsa purayantu tat, yad atra saustavam kinchit tad guroreva menahi. If there are any errors in my presentation, then may the learned souls correct me. However, if there is anything nice in it, then it belongs to my Guru and not to me. Everything that I have spoke is straight from Srila Prabhupada's books. Of course, except for my little, life experiences. But everything is in Srila Prabhupada's books. Every single solitary thing, you can find it there. So, with that, let's chant Hare Krishna one more time, and we will end. Are there any questions right after, okay? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Are there any questions, comments, corrections? Yes, Rajendra Prabhu. Oh, yes, guarantee. Okay, let me try to remember what I was going to say about the guarantee. Yes, I remember.
Got the mic. Questions?
Oh, okay. Yes, you have.
Sorry.
Oh my God, Prabhu, I forgot what I was going to say. Ask a question. Let me think about it for a second. It'll come to me. I think it was just, Rama. Now I remember. See, I didn't even finish this last one. Okay, look, okay. I remember what it was now. Okay, let me find this one. This is what it is. Okay. Where is that verse? No. Okay, this is the one I wanted to do. This. Oh my God, did I forget it? Oh, Krishna, I think I forgot it. Well, there's a verse in the Varaha Purana where Krishna says, oh, Krishna, please let me find that verse. I so wanted to talk about it. Just give me a second, okay, guys? Give me a second. I got to find that verse. It was, see, patience, right. Oh, Krishna. I can't. Okay, let's see. Krishna, either you have to find it for me or you have to remind me what the, at least somewhat of the translation of that verse so I can, oh my gosh. Okay, God, I found it. Okay. So it said, if my devotee is unable to remember me at the time of death because of disturbances felt within the body at that time, then I shall remember my devotee and take him back to my supreme abode. Oh my God, isn't that fantastic? Oh my God, it was when I read this, I was like, I just do my part. I don't worry about the end. I don't worry about am I going to get there, am I going to get there. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to do my part. And one last thing. Oh, Krishna. One more minute, I will be done, okay? One thing, I asked Sachinanda, and this is the conclusion. I asked Sachinanda Maharaj when I was on Sadhu Sangha 2 years ago. He was giving a class, and I said, I came to Sadhu Sangha, I listened to these, Maharajas speak, and I listen to my Guru speak, and I leave enthusiastic. I am, rip-roaring, I'm ready to go. I'm enthusiastic. And then as I go farther away from this holy place, when I get farther, time-wise, distant from this time, my enthusiasm starts kind of dwindling and wavering. How do I keep that? And everybody always says, associate with devotees and do some service. And listen to lectures and stuff. Well, I run the Sunday school. I'm listening to all kinds of conference calls. I associate with devotees. Everybody gives you these. These are the pat answers. And I'm like, yes, Maharaj. And then he said something, and he said, and every time you go to one of these places, you go to these places, to these sadhu sanghas, these groups where you're meeting devotees, pick up one good thing, something, and apply it to your life. One thing and apply it to your life. And if you apply it to your life, then that will enthuse you because every time you go, you're adding something new. And you know what I added to my life? I'll tell you what I added to my life. Do you guys want to know? Okay. So in the mornings during Sadhu Sangha, oh my gosh, Vaiseshika Prabhu and Radhanath Swami, it was Vaiseshika Prabhu first and then Radhanath Swami joined later. They would sit in the middle, and they would sit and chant japa, right? So japa, excuse me, Vaiseshika Guru and Radhanath Swami. And then all the devotees were sitting around them, like almost like lotus petals, right? And they're all chanting. And the atmosphere in that place, when they were chanting, sitting, oh, Krishna, I'm not going to talk about that. Okay. Sitting, the posture, the pronunciation, and chanting, and the vibration that got off from that, I said, that is how I'm going to chant. And so I went home and I made a promise that I'm going to get up. And I wasn't getting up at Brahma Muhurtam, and this was, a year ago. I'm an initiated devotee. I was getting up early, but not 3 o'clock, not 3:30, probably around 4, 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock I was up. I was ready, but not Brahma Muhurtam. 2 years ago, I said, this is not happening. I'm not going to get anywhere if I'm just not taking things seriously. I started getting up early, chanting my arms early. That's what I added, and it changed my life. Okay, so, our request to you, my humble request to you, add something to your life. Take this process seriously. And, as they say, in a college, they tell you join clubs if you want to feel, to succeed in college, and you succeed in high school, join clubs, whatever, be involved. So I'm telling you, be involved. Each one of us has a gift, and you can, any of your gifts, you can bring it to Krishna consciousness. It can be used. I'm sorry, I'm going on. I will stop here. Hare Krishna. Okay. I'm sorry. So, yes. Okay. Oh, see, now if that is not Krishna telling us that, it's okay, right? He's, see, okay, so any questions? Anybody have any questions, any comments? Yes. Yes, Prabhu. I will try to answer.
Okay. You mentioned when we are angry, we can do whatever with it when probably you recommended to just let it go. But I was wondering, and I hope I am not going to be misunderstood, what if we deliver all of that to Krishna? I mean, I know anger is seen like negative things, but still, if we deliver all our wrong feelings to Krishna, what could happen?
Very nice question. Instead of actually, you actually would request, you won't actually give it to Krishna as such, but say, Krishna, take it away, right? That's what the mood should be. You're not going to give your anger to Krishna because we're not, Kamsa was always thinking of Krishna and anger. We're not that's not our mood, right? But you can request, Krishna or Guru Maharaj, take it away. I don't like this feeling, take it away. That's a possibility. That's allowed, or that's how I would do it.
Okay. Yes.
And if you have any, anything to share, realizations, if we're waiting for Bhadrinarayan Maharaj, if you would like, I'll take a page from, yes, does she want to ask? You can ask. I'll try to answer.
She's shy.
That's okay. We're all family here. Somebody else may have that same question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I want to tell about the Bhagavad Gita, something.
Yeah, okay. I hope I can tell you.
For that, I will chant Sanskrit shloka first. Then I will tell the meaning of that. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavate Narayana Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Putranam Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamrutavarshinim Bhagavatim Mashtadashadhyayinim Vedatvamanusandradhami Bhagavate Bhavadveshinim. That means Shri Krishna chanted the Gita at the Mahabharata war. He tell us some life meanings. What should we do in the man's life? He tell all the advices for the human beings. Human beings must have to do the karma, the work. He said that work is worship. And he said all the lectures like milk, like Amrut for the human beings. So Gita is very most popular advice for all human beings before 5,000 years ago and after 5,000 years before.
Yes.
Before and after.
Yes.
It's every time the advice for all human beings. Gita is not such a religious, it's all for human beings.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.